The universe guides us to create bonds, friendships, and connections with those souls we have much to learn from, or with whom we have unfinished business, both in past lives and in this one. In a time when healthy and constructive relationships are a rare resource, the need to connect with empathetic people is often exploited by individuals with narcissistic, self-centered, and manipulative traits. These relationships can cause immense suffering and, if prolonged, risk destroying us. Yet today we constantly seek psychological or spiritual interpretations for every experience. Furthermore, the new rules of society, based on image and appearance, encourage the development of increasingly distorted personalities, increasing the likelihood of encountering toxic individuals. So, how can we face this challenge? Many suggest abandoning the endeavor immediately. Easier said than done, you might be thinking. In fact, once seduced, the situation gets complicated. In the initial phase, these encounters appear as authentic incarnations of our twin flame, making us experience emotions never felt before. Then comes the abyss. It is essential to remember that we can overcome such experiences if we have the strength to ask for help, the inner resources, and the courage to know ourselves deeply. The twin flame represents the incomplete part of our soul embodied in another body, ready to meet us again to achieve cosmic fullness through countless incarnations. Those who have already met their twin flame know that after the initial pain of the first inevitable separations, there is a very strong push for individual improvement, and it is recognized that reunification seems possible only after having faced paths of inner purification, complete self-acceptance, and a profound spiritual evolution. Observing the behavior of manipulative narcissists reveals surprising analogies with what happens during the alleged encounter with the twin flame, but there is a fundamental difference. During periods of separation, both flames work on themselves, try to evolve, and analyze the shadows and wounds brought to light by the encounter with the other. During narcissistic abandonment or discard, however, the work on oneself is done only by the injured party, while the manipulator continues undeterred on his empty and dangerous path for others. It is disheartening to note, observing platforms like YouTube, how many thousands of people suffer because of destructive relationships. The narcissistic interpretation offers an honest and concrete view of the self-destructive behaviors of these wounded souls, devoid of empathy, who, to escape their inner emptiness and pain, try to draw energy from genuine and open-hearted people, what psychological counselors define as the opposite. The mechanisms are similar. The well-known push and pull, the need to attract further victims in addition to the partner, often defined as the primary victim or mother victim, and a real attack on the other's self-esteem through strategic silences, disappearances, humiliations, and harsh criticisms. You may ask yourselves, how can all this be interpreted as a potential encounter with the other half of ourselves? Is it possible to believe that such similar behaviors are the prelude to spiritual joy and cosmic love, as the twin flame theory claims? To me, this convergence of opinion seems plausible. The twin flame recognizes us because it embodies the missing part of us, usually the darkest one, which we know we must integrate to complete our journey. On the contrary, the manipulative narcissist possesses an almost mediumistic ability, and in reality he is, to grasp our deepest emotional and spiritual needs, adapting like a chameleon to fully satisfy them. He does this to bind us to him. They weave tales of destiny and soul recognition, mirroring our desires. This creates a powerful illusion, making it difficult to discern the truth. In the initial phase of courtship, we are overwhelmed by an avalanche of attention and compliments, mostly verbal. But all this is just a tool to make us vulnerable and manipulable. Once conquered, it seems that both twin flames and manipulative narcissists tend to temporarily withdraw or suddenly distance us. leaving us in a state of confusion and immense pain. Needless to dwell on it, the flame moves away because the encounter showed them their dark sides, their black holes, and they are terrified. From there will begin their path of awareness. The manipulator flees because he is bored, because he has another prey, or just to enjoy the suffering that his abandonment causes us. In both cases, however, it is the moment in which the victims have an extraordinary opportunity to rediscover themselves, to recognize their weaknesses exploited to be seduced and abandoned, and to review their lives, healing old wounds and rediscovering their authentic value. Something that the narcissist, immersed in the illusion of an ideal self, is unable to accept. Whether the experience is interpreted in a constructive or destructive key, it is undeniable that we are facing ourselves, with the opportunity to become more aware, mature, and complete individuals, even if the path can be extremely arduous. Today, this topic is discussed enormously, as evidenced by the views of the numerous videos on the subject. This makes us understand how much our desire to understand, and above all our desire to learn to love ourselves more deeply, has grown. I reiterate, it could really be our twin flame, and as already mentioned, you will realize it from the work they will do on themselves. The false flames, the manipulators, unfortunately, choose to remain trapped in their condition. For them, change is equivalent to a kind of death, as it implies giving up the control to which they desperately cling. Consequently, they opt for the primary victim, usually the spouse, with whom they live for fear of loneliness, choosing partners capable of supporting the mechanisms that have made them manipulative, such as marked emotional coldness. In this scenario, no one is able to give space to authentic love, since the reciprocal mechanisms prevent the growth of the relationship. The manipulator prefers to maintain the status quo, fearing change and continuing to exploit the energy of others, despite this contrasting with the natural law of evolution. Rarely does the narcissist embark on a path of healing, considering others as inferior. Perhaps the exhausting effort of always playing a part, the sense of suffocation and the impossibility of being authentically oneself, and the inability to experience the joy of genuine love could, over time, crack the fragile castle of the ego. But experts have little hope and often advise the victim to get away to safety. If, on the other hand, it is truly our twin flame, rest assured that nothing can prevent the reunion, not necessarily intended as an engagement or marriage, but through an unconditional, authentic, and above all unattached love. May true love therefore flood our lives, transforming us into more complete, aware beings capable of evolving in harmony with the cosmos. Whatever phase you are facing now, love yourself. Treat yourself as you would the person you loved most in the world. Love yourself as if you were your own child. Take care of your heart and soul as you would a child, a puppy. When you have experienced self-love in its fullness and totality, you will be a magnet for pure and unconditional love. The universe will open roads that will give you unimaginable joy. Remember, you have the key to happiness.